You are a derrick hand. North Sea, 3 a.m. The emergency lights cast long, sick yellow shadows across the control room. You have the fire axe from the emergency locker gripped in your hands, knuckles white. Outside the reinforced window, it stands in the wind and rain, wearing your friend's face, smiling a smile that is too wide for a human mouth. It taps on the glass with one crooked finger, the sound a dead little tick against the howl of the storm. Here is how you got there. You work the drill floor on the Kraken's Toothy, a semi-submersible rig anchored to the floor of the North Sea. You were 28. You grew up in Aberdeen, in a small house that always smelled of damp and fried fish. Your father worked these same waters for 30 years until a snapped winch cable crushed 2 of his vertebrae. His pension is barely enough to cover the heating bill. Your mother works retail. She stands on her feet for 10 hours a day, smiling at people who don't see her. You have a sister, Isla, who is studying marine biology at St. Andrews. She is brilliant. She is the first person in your family to get past secondary school. You pay her tuition. You pay the mortgage on your parents' house. You do it by spending 21 days at a time on a metal island in the middle of a cold gray hell. The money is good. The work is not. It is 12 hours on, 12 hours off. A cycle of noise, grease, and vibrating steel. You wrestle with 1,000-pound sections of drill pipe in freezing winds that try to peel the skin from your face. Every action is a risk. A moment of inattention, a slick spot on the floor, a frayed cable. It can cost you a hand, a leg, your life. You are good at your job. You have to be. Your bunkmate is Ewan. He's from Dundee, a few years older than you. He shows you pictures of his wife and his baby daughter, a tiny thing named Grace. He says he is saving up to buy a house with a small garden. He talks about it every night before the exhaustion takes him. You listen. Listen. You don't have a wife or a daughter. You have this rig. The storm warning comes over the wire at 1800 hours. Not unusual for this time of year. The tool pusher, a thick-set man named McGregor, calls a meeting in the mess. Wind speeds gusting to 90 knots. 20-meter seas. It's a bad one, but the Kraken's tooth is a beast. She's ridden out worse. The order is given. Batten down. Secure all loose equipment on the pipe deck. Tie down the cranes. Dog the hatches. This is routine. A well-rehearsed dance of men in hard hats and high-vis jackets. The non-essential crew are ordered to their quarters. Ewan, and a few other roughnecks are on McGregor's damage control team. You stay on the drill floor, in the relative shelter of the derrick. The first waves hit like fists. The entire rig groans, a deep, resonant tremor that you feel in the bones of your feet. The lights flicker, then hold. The noise is constant. The shriek of the wind, the percussive boom of water hitting steel. You sit in the doghouse, the small office on the drill floor, drinking lukewarm coffee from a thermos. Ewan is next to you, staring out the salt-streaked window at the chaos. Just gotta ride it out, he says, but his voice is tight. He keeps touching the small, worn photo of his daughter he has tucked into the clear pocket of his coveralls. The general alarm goes off at 1:17. Not the fire alarm, not the abandoned ship alarm. It's the klaxon for a critical failure. McGregor's voice crackles over the internal comms. Rogue wave. Impact on the starboard pontoon. We're listing. You feel it then. A definite, sickening tilt to the floor. The coffee in your mug sloshes over the side. McGregor is at the door a second later. Suit up. I need eyes on the riser tensioners. Now. You and Ewan follow him out onto the deck. The world becomes a nightmare of wind and water. The air is so full of salt spray you can't breathe without tasting it. The safety lines you clip onto are the only things keeping you from being blown into the sea. The deck is slick with rain and ocean water. Emergency floodlights cut through the darkness, turning the spray into a blinding, strobe-lit blizzard. You see the damage immediately. A section of the upper deck railing is twisted into scrap metal. A shipping container has broken its moorings and slammed into a set of hydraulic lines, which are now gushing fluid. But the real problem is the riser, the massive pipe connecting the rig to the wellhead on the seabed. The waves are putting a terrifying amount of strain on it. Ewan spots a loose tensioner cable. It's whipping back and forth like a metal snake, heavy enough to kill a man with one strike. "I can get it!" he yells over the wind, his voice thin and distant. McGregor screams back. No, it's too dangerous. Wait for a lull. But Ewan is already moving. He's always been like that. Always the first to volunteer, the first to take the risk. He thinks if he works harder, he'll get home sooner. He unclips his line, takes 2 steps to move around a winch, and clips back on. In that 2-second window it happens. You see it coming. A wall of black water, bigger than the rest, rising up out of the darkness. It doesn't break, it just swells. A liquid mountain. There is no sound you can make that will be heard over the storm. You reach a hand out, a useless gesture. The wave crests the deck. It's not a splash. It's a solid, unstoppable force. It lifts Ewan off his feet as if he weighs nothing. His hard hat is torn from his head. You see his face for one clear, impossible moment in the floodlights, eyes wide with shock. Then he is gone, pulled over the side and into the churning black water. You scream his name. The sound is swallowed by the wind. McGregor grabs the back of your coveralls and hauls you back towards the doghouse. He's gone, son. There's nothing we can do. He's gone. The storm rages for another hour, then slowly, it begins to die. The wind drops from a shriek to a mournful howl. The waves recede. An unnatural quiet settles over the rig, broken only by the creak of stressed metal and the drip of water. The main generators are flooded. Communications are down. You are on emergency power, running only essential lights and life support. You are alone out here. 27 men, down from 28. A profound, heavy silence fills the mess hall. No one speaks. You just stare into your coffee, seeing Ewan's face in the black liquid. You take the first watch. McGregor says it's to look for debris, but you both know it's a vigil for a man who will not be found. You stand on the edge of the helideck, staring down at the water. The sea is still rough, a landscape of agitated black peaks. The moon breaks through the clouds. That's when you see it. Something pale under the surface. It's long, impossibly long, and it moves with a serpentine grace that is not like any fish, not like any whale. It glides just beneath the waves, a ghostly white shape in the dark water. You blink, shake your head. You're exhausted. Grief is a poison that makes the mind see things. You turn away. A sound makes you turn back. A scrape, metal on metal. It comes from below, from one of the massive support legs that holds the rig above the water. You lean over the safety railing, peering down into the darkness. A figure is climbing the cross bracings of the leg. Your mind refuses to process it. The steel is 50 meters high, slick with oil and algae. The waves still crash against the base. No person could survive that climb. No person could have survived the fall. You watch frozen as the figure pulls itself over the final beam and onto the lower deck. It stands there for a moment, unsteady, in a pool of dim emergency light. It's wearing soaked, dark blue coveralls. It's Ewan. He looks up, across the expanse of the main deck, directly at you. He raises a hand in a small, hesitant wave. You run. You don't use the radio. What would you say? You find McGregor in the radio room trying to get a signal. You grab his arm, words tumbling out of you. It's Ewan. He's on the deck. He climbed up. McGregor looks at you, his face a mask of pity and exhaustion. Son, you need to sleep. The shock. No, you insist, your voice cracking. You don't understand. I saw him. He follows you, more to humor you than because he believes. You lead him to the bridge, the highest point on the rig, with windows overlooking the entire operation. The main deck is empty. See? McGregor says, his voice gentle. There's nothing there. Then you both see it. Movement. By the pipe racks. The figure steps out of the shadows. It's Ewan, walking slowly, with a strange, jerky gait. His head is tilted to one side, at an angle a neck should not be able to hold. McGregor grabs the binoculars. He puts them to his eyes, and you see the color drain from his face. He lowers them slowly, his hand trembling. Christ Almighty, he whispers. Ewan, the thing that looks like Ewan, stops in the middle of the deck. It looks up at the bridge. It smiles. The expression is a grotesque parody, a pulling of lips over teeth that does not involve the eyes. The eyes are flat, dark, and empty. McGregor fumbles for the rig-wide address system. He keys the mic. All hands, this is the tool pusher. We have an unidentified person on the deck. I repeat, an unidentified person. Do not approach. Secure yourselves in your quarters immediately. His voice echoes across the silent rig. Down below, the UN thing cocks its head, listening. It takes a step towards the accommodation block. You watch on the security monitor as two roughnecks, coming out of the galley, see it. They stop. You hear their faint, confused voices over a nearby comms panel. Ewan? Mate, is that you? They walk towards it. It stops and waits for them. When they are a few feet away, it moves. It is so fast. Not a run, but a fluid, unnatural lurch. It covers the distance in an instant. You don't see what it does. The camera feed cuts to static. You only hear a wet, tearing sound, followed by a choked-off scream. You and McGregor stare at each other. The blood has left your face. You feel a cold, a deep, internal cold that has nothing to do with the North Sea air. You lock the heavy steel door to the bridge. It feels useless. You check the other camera feeds. One by one they go dead. A feed from a corridor in the accommodation block shows 3 crewmen backing away from a dark shape. Then, static. The last camera near the engine room shows the door being torn from its hinges. Then, static. The rig goes silent again. Utterly, completely silent. There is only the hum of the emergency lights and the sound of your own ragged breathing. Then, a soft, scraping sound. Right outside the bridge door. McGregor picks up a heavy wrench from the toolkit. He stands by the door, his face grim. The scraping stops. A voice comes through the steel. It's Ewan's voice, but it's wrong. It's thin and hollow, like a recording played through water. Let me in, it's Ewan. McGregor doesn't answer. He just shakes his head, his eyes wide. I saw Grace, the voice says. She has your eyes. That breaks McGregor. A sob escapes his lips. The thing outside heard Ewan talk about his daughter. It knows. It's cold out here, the voice whispers. Then, a loud bang on the door. Then, another. And another. A rhythmic, powerful pounding that dents the steel. You back away, towards the control room connected to the bridge. You grab the fire axe from its case.